Let me ask you a riddle. What's used in candles and soap is made by bees and can be found in the Pacific Ocean near Nehalem, Oregon? The answer is beeswax. Now, you probably weren't expecting that last bit. Yes, beeswax can be used in candles, and it's obviously made by bees, but why can it be found in the ocean? And why specifically near Nehalem, Oregon? The reason for this is just about as cool as it could be. A mysterious shipwrecked Spanish galleon sailed by Captain Santo Cristos de Burgos, which disappeared in 1693 and has never been found. It was this man who is responsible for beeswax ending up in the ocean. As you probably guessed, bees didn't make beeswax in the ocean. The beeswax was from Manila in the Philippines. A Spanish trader who we think was Santo Cristo de Burgos picked up silver pieces of 8 minted in Mexico and Peru, then sailed to Manila and traded them for beeswax, fine silks, and Chinese porcelain. He would repeat this cycle to make money. But when he returned to the west coast one time, the ship was driven north for some reason. Pirates? Sea monsters? Probably just stormy weather, but no one really knows. Either way, some or all of the crew made it safely to shore in what is now Oregon. Traditional stories in the Northwest say that they mixed with the native population, meaning that they were the first Europeans to meet the native peoples of the Northwest. Goods from the ship have been washing up on the Nehalem coastline for decades. Here in the museum we have a pretty big chunk of beeswax, but they come even bigger than this. Let's see how much this piece of beeswax actually weighs. About 7.5 pounds. That's pretty heavy, but the largest piece that's ever been found weighed a full 175 pounds. We don't actually have it at the museum here, I'm just standing on the scale. As for the other goods on the ship, the silk has long since dissolved in the salty seawater of the ocean. However, Chinese blue and white pottery has been washing up on the Oregon coast for the past 300 years. Some of it was gathered by the native peoples living in the area, and some of those shards were sharpened into arrowheads for use in hunting animals. I bet you never thought you could kill a deer using a Chinese teapot, but now you know better. As I mentioned earlier, this shipwreck still has not been found. Now, it's probably not worth a ton, in that it wasn't full of gold or silver. As you know, it was full of things like beeswax. However, it's still an interesting mystery, and finding its remains would tell us a lot more about who was sailing it and why it sank. Part of the reason the shipwreck has stayed so hidden is that a tsunami, an enormous wave of water, hit the Northwest in January of 1700, reshaping some of its coastlines. If the shipwreck occurred in 1693, and we think that it did, because 1693 is when Santo Cristos' ship disappeared, then the tsunami would have smashed whatever was left of the ship, and most likely buried it under tons of sand and rocks. Of course, if we ever found parts of the ship in the layers of sand from this tsunami, then we would know for sure what happened to it. But for now, we'll just have to use our imaginations.